Welcome, fans, to episode 87 of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed. I'm here with my co-hosts, Little Ed and Coach Ed, and our producer, Mikey Produces. What's up, boys?
What up, fellas?
How we
Got a
doing?
little care package today from Tennessee Meg. Coach Ed dubbed her Tennessee Meg, and she signed to Tennessee Meg. Got a nice little cartoon.
Yeah. Mikey didn't get his. He just got back from vacation, but his box is sitting on my coffee table, ready to be picked up or dropped off.
Well, you should open it, take the good cookies out, and then seal it and give it to him.
Yeah, so shout out to Tennessee Meg and her little bakery, Suiter's Sweet Treats, down in Tennessee. She has an Etsy shop, and you can actually order things to get delivered anywhere, but also allow 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, it was really good cookies, man. I had a couple earlier, and
and Coach Ed did a little cookie review at the Garden.
I was just gonna say that.
Obviously, Megan's not able to go to the Ranger games, living in Tennessee, so we brought one of her cookies. We snuck one of her cookies into the Garden.
Interesting.
Nice.
It was a nice little conglomerate of nuts, marshmallows, chocolate.
Well, don't ruin the review. I'm sure Eddie's going to
telling
post it
you,
somewhere.
just
Now they don't have to watch.
Give it a little preview.
Yeah.
Little gift from Tennessee Meg. Since she couldn't be here, we brought her a cookie to the Garden. Thanks for the gift, Meg. Looks like a little peanut-covered, chocolate-covered peanut. A little marshmallow. Ooh, nice touch.
So a lot's been going on, man. First of all, Happy New Year to all the fans out there, obviously, and I hope you guys had a great holiday and a great New Year break. I just came back from vacation. Coach Ed and Little Ed been going on all these live streams. I'm gone, and all of a sudden there's all these live streams and stuff. Hockey night in New York for the Ranger Islander game.
Oh, it was a ton of fun.
Watch that clip. Hilarious. First of all, I just want to say, I'll let you guys talk about it, but Coach Ed predicting the score of the game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tight. I'm thinking maybe a 3-2 Rangers win. Coach, what do you think?
I'm going to go with a 5-3 Rangers win with an empty netter.
Five
many goals.
You're betting
the over.
Wow. All right.
They got to break the ice on that guy sooner or later.
And
He
Sean,
can't
what
keep shutting him out.
Sean, what's your pick?
Oh, Isles by $1 million. Yeah.
They cover.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say it's gonna be. We'll see. The Islanders are playing a little more open style now, so you might not be far off with that 5-3. But I'm gonna go 4-2 Isles. But now
What's so funny?
It's just such a random thing. Like that's so.
It was
lucky.
crazy. It was crazy.
Why is it lucky? That's what I thought the game was going to be. Well, I don't understand.
Based on what? It's two of the best goalies in the league, and you picked 8 goals in the game.
Yeah, it was crazy.
All
One of
right,
the Islander
well.
fans picked 3-0. So let's start from the beginning. So our buddy Sean, new listeners, we do the rivalry tour over the summer, and we had them on for the Islanders episode. So yeah, he's a cool guy. We've been keeping in touch, kind of posting, chirping back and forth on each other's Instagram pages, whatever. So he invited us on for his live show at Lost Farmers Brewery in Mineola. And hey man, they do it right. They have the whole setup. They got speakers, the microphone, everything. It was a ton of fun. Did raffles. But yeah, the highlight of the show is during our little interview, our little guest spot, we all went around the table and gave our predictions for the final score. And Coach Ed nailed it with 5-3. I mean, the other Islander fans said what, 3-0? One kid said 3-0, 4-0.
There's no way
Islanders.
he didn't put. And the best part is he put no thought into it.
Yeah.
Somebody
First
just
of
said
all-
to him, "What's going to be the
first of
score?"
all-
And he was just like, "Oh, 5-3."
First of all, don't make like I can't predict scores. Second of all, make sure we say that it was the pregame for the Ranger Islander game that we were on.
Right. Yeah. Yes. It was Thursday the 22nd.
And not only did I predict the score, I predicted it was going to be an empty net goal to make it 5.
This is true.
Oh god.
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
the cherry on top, well, I guess that's the cherry on top. But
So random.
the big victory was that Sean bet us on the live stream, put me on the spot, that the loser of the Ranger Islander game had to wear the other podcast hat on their show.
Now that we're talking about predictions and the result of this game, why don't we put a little wager on it? How do you feel about that?
I'm in, Sean. I'm in. Let's
So
do
I
it.
see these really ugly, disgusting Ranger hats that you have on your heads here, right? And we have our own. So how about this? If the Isles win, one of you guys got to wear one of our hats, Hockey Night in New York, on your next broadcast.
Okay.
And if the Rangers win, one of us got to wear one of your hats in the next broadcast. How does that sound?
That seems pretty
Deal?
simple.
Seems
All right,
Is
so-
their podcast on camera?
Yes, we're on
Okay.
YouTube.
Okay.
As of this season, we are.
Otherwise, we'd have to take their word for it.
That's not a
You know,
fair.
that's been vetted, Chris. We know that they use the video. Yes. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm in
All
for
right.
that without a
but
doubt.
because you guys are ahead in the standings right now, we get like +3 goals, right, for tonight, right?
This
how
isn't
that-
golf, Sean.
Yeah, you want strokes now? Come on.
All right, fair enough. 0-0. All
I don't
right.
see either one of us sponsored by any betting sites.
Not yet.
Fair enough. All right, well that'll be fun.
And good on Sean. He followed through on his show. What was it, Monday night, I think. He followed through and did a live show with the Rangers Ed podcast hat on.
Yes, Happy New Year. And folks, if you're wondering, any of you watching out there, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this ridiculously ugly putrid hat on my head, the Rangers Ed podcast hat, it's because if you happen to listen to last week's show, last show from Lost Farmer Brewing Company, we made a little wager with the good folks at the Rangers Ed podcast, and that was the loser would wear the hat of the opposing podcast if your team lost. And well, the Islanders not only lost, but a weird prediction from Coach Ed, right on the money, 5-3. So he even got the score right.
Amazing.
5-3. So here I am wearing this disgusting hat. I can't wait to throw it in the trash after the show is over. But a bet's a bet. You got to honor it, and here we are. So
So
Saw that
shout out
clip.
to Sean. I'm not going to put it on, but we won one of his hats in a raffle. Luckily, there's no Islanders logo anywhere on this hat. So technically, it's allowed to be in my apartment, but I'm not going to wear it, Sean, because I didn't lose the bet.
They got a lot going on though. They did a great job. They have some
they're- yeah.
raffles. They do a raffle fundraiser. They have a nice
Yep.
little situation going on. They're good guys.
Great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So if you guys didn't make it out to the last one, then yeah, hopefully we'll do it again soon for sure.
Yeah, where can they watch the episode of you guys on there?
Yeah, you can head over to Hockey Night in New York's Twitch stream. So you just got to go to twitch.com, twitch.com. And I did it the other day. I don't have a username or anything, so I'm pretty sure you could just hop on and go right to their page and watch the live stream. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. It was really funny. We were hits out there. It's good.
There were
Yeah.
actually a few people listening
Yeah. And
live. I mean,
I guess we'll get
So-
it out of the way now, and I'll announce this week's fan of the week. Shout out to Joey Reels, our buddy.
Joey.
Came out to a lot of the playoff games last year at the Beer Garden, and he came out to the live show and supported us this time. So shout out to Joey for being fan of the week. Oh, and I always put him on the case whenever I need to look up something in a past episode. He's always able to find it right away.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
He actually found the Cousin Ed Quagmire clip for me. So that was great.
Oh, which one? The one where I was talking about the break, the
Kakko,
2-on-1?
2-on-1. Yeah, he went back
Yeah.
like 2 episodes and found it for me. It was hilarious.
That is funny. Yeah, I do get
Yeah.
excited when the young kids make nice plays. So
Of course.
that's
So yeah,
hilarious.
shout out Joey.
So you guys didn't go
Good
to the
fan,
game though.
good
You
friend.
went to you went to the bar to do that, right? Was it a bar
Right.
you were at?
It was
There-
at Lost Farmers Brewery in Mineola. It was right by the train station on Main Street. And yeah, it was a cool little spot.
Did you end up going to the game that night, or you just watched it in the bar?
No, we watched it in the bar with everybody. And in between periods, we just did some raffles. And yeah, we just kept chirping back and forth. It was a pretty even game up until the end. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
all
was it?
Islander country over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Islander fans, a few Ranger fans. Hopefully we gain some listeners that night.
When you say a lot of Islander fans, do you mean like it was like all of the Islander fans and like that exist in one place?
Maybe
all three-
all of them
all
in
300
Mineola.
all
the
300 of
Mineola.
them?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's cool. But then you guys, you ended up going to 2 games during this break, right? Or Mike went to one. I think you got one
Mike
of you went.
to one.
Yeah,
Mike,
I think you went to the Capitals game.
You went
I
to the
didn't-
Capitals game, right?
I didn't go to the fun one.
You went to the 4-0 Capital game.
Yeah, it's a rough
Disaster.
one.
Yeah, sorry about that. And then you guys went to the really exciting game, Coach and Little Ed. You guys went last night, right, to the Hurricanes game.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's where Coach Ed did his cookie review.
Yeah, Coach Ed did the cookie review for Tennessee Meg, and we also reviewed the nachos from Avenue Cantina
Nice.
and the tacos, the beef brisket tacos. So keep an eye out for that on YouTube. But yeah, the biggest highlight of last night. I know we've been ragging on the Garden a little bit. I even actually mentioned it on Hockey Night New York's live stream that it's been really dead in the Garden as of late this season. Not last night. Last night it was
good.
It was bumping. A lot of Let's Go Ranger chants, Igor chants.
You can hear it. You can really hear it.
Yeah.
On TV.
Even like after like big plays in the
time.
defensive zone, there was a lot of cheers. You don't really get a lot of that normally. So like even like the small plays were
on the penalty kill, there was cheering.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it was nice.
definitely
it's-
noticeable.
It's a big game, and they played well, so that's what happens, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's nice to see.
I
But,
gotta
all right,
just say, I gotta say one thing. We got these seats, and I was saying it to Eddie last night.
Now your microphone is too close to you.
Nice. Good.
I think if you put a GPS on every seat in Madison Square Garden, from the seat location to the train, I think we are the furthest you could possibly be away from Penn Station. You understand that? Like if you did a tracker from each seat,
Yeah.
Down the stairs, all the way to the
I think
end.
we're the furthest.
With the furthest possible seat.
You're on 8th Avenue.
Well, that's the so I'm
Oh, you
I'm
go
trying
outside, Mike, when you go?
Yeah, I go right out the exit, right on 8th Avenue. Just walk down.
Oh,
You're
that
right
might be a
there.
better idea.
What do you do?
Ah.
You walk all the way around?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
It's still
I can't
walking
help
no
you.
matter where, inside or outside, still the furthest away.
Yeah, but I guess if you walk inside the Garden, you're kind of walking past the train and then back downstairs. Whatever.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
it's
can
all-
just next time use Waze. It'll tell you where all the people.
What we
are.
should do is put like a tracker on my phone and just like see how we walk and miss the turnstile and miss. We're like
Put-
all over the
put the
Yeah, maybe
put
we
the
could do-
Prusty
let's
the
try this
Prusty
thing.
tag.
The
Yeah, let's
Rangers
go.
said fastest way out of the Garden.
Take the Prusty tag and track it. So
Yeah,
that
Now
you
to
yeah.
get food, then we missed the level. We had to go back down.
can, then you can post it. Here's the tag. where
Yeah, I
you
think
went.
I think
We did
all
like
in all,
4,000 steps.
yeah, like 4,200 steps or something
Oh my god.
in like what 4 hours? 5
So
hours?
I'm thinking of
know
coming
if
down
that's a
for a
lot.
game,
Up.
for one of the games that you guys have this spring, just for the game. And
Up.
I was
Coming
gonna
up.
get seats up there. Yeah, coming up. So I was thinking of getting seats where you are, but you're not really selling it. I think I'm gonna go with Mike, honestly.
do it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Mike to go right out on the street and not walk 4,200 steps to the train. But anyway, we got a lot to cover, including that game. So let's jump right into it. And we'll start with the jersey numbers, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. No current Ranger wears 87. I think Sidney Crosby's the only one in the league that wears that number right now. But Donald Brashear wore it in 2010, Coach. Remember him? He was probably a favorite of
Yeah.
yours. I don't remember.
I don't
but
know about a favorite, but
probably loved him. So because he could punch. Anyway,
you see,
I think Brashear has a trading card protector company.
interesting.
Yeah. Just throwing
not
that out
sure.
there.
But
No,
yeah, so
he does.
Donald Brashear, the only Ranger to wear 87. But let's go right into it. So prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 18, 10, and 5. They played 6 games since we last recorded. It's been a couple weeks. 3-2-1 in those games. They sit at 21, 12, and 6, 48 points, third in the Metro, 10th in the NHL. A couple of divisional games here at Pittsburgh, home against the Islanders, home against the Capitals, home against the Hurricanes, and then the 2 South Florida teams on the road. 3-2-1. Coach, I think you'd take that, right?
I think so. It was a string of some tough games. There. I mean, other than the Washington game, I thought they had a really good week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, those are all pretty good teams. I mean, you look at, I know the Panthers are struggling this year, but they're fresh off a President's Trophy. You got Carolina, top team in the league. Tampa went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Washington's always a playoff team. Islanders are having a good year, and the Penguins are having a good year. So not an easy game on that schedule. Maybe Florida, because they're really struggling, but still, that wasn't an easy game. But, you know, what stood out to me, first, let's just start with this. The Rangers are the only team in NHL history to end 2 teams' 15-game point streaks in one season. The only team in NHL history to do it. They ended Toronto's When they beat Toronto, they were 12-0-3 going into that game, and the Rangers won that in regulation. And then Carolina last night, 17 straight games with a point, including 11 straight wins. And the Rangers win regulation, snap that.
And they also snapped Marner's point streak.
And they snapped Marner's point streak, right? So it raises the issue or the point. One of the complaints we had earlier in the year, and I'm going to bring this to you, Coach, is that the Rangers were throwing points away against bad teams. They lost an OT to San Jose, they lost to Anaheim, they lost to Columbus, they lost to Detroit, they lost to Ottawa and Chicago. I mean, that's 6 games right there where they pretty much threw points away. But they do pretty well against good teams. Do you think that has something to do with they just maybe went to the Eastern Conference Finals and they just want to get to the playoffs and they're just anxious to get back to that point to make another run? Or do you think that's a coaching issue, an internal thing? What do you think is going on there?
I think, Eddie talked about it a lot, that they play down a level when they play those teams. Probably mentally you feel like you're going in, they could take it a little easy, but I don't think, I always argue with you that there's really not a bad team. I know what you're saying. They're not a playoff team, but these teams are very good. And I just think the Rangers are peaking now. I don't think you're going to see that. But if you look around the schedule, there are teams losing to these teams a lot. It's not like just the Rangers are losing to these teams. They're upsetting. Phoenix upset somebody recently. I forget who. I saw it on NHL, but Toronto, yeah, these teams are there for on any given night, they're going to give you a game. And if you sleep a little bit, or the goalie has an off night, or, a couple of guys have an off night, you're going to pay the price. So that
I understand,
shows you how much on your toes you have to stay every night. And that's the hard part.
Yeah, so that's the point I'm trying to make. I understand what you're saying, but I mean, Chicago has 8 wins this season and Columbus has 11 wins. So you could say no team is really bad, but those are some really bad teams comparatively to the rest of the league. I mean, Chicago has 20 points right now. The Rangers have 21 wins.
I mean, right? The other thing you got to look at also, again, I think we talked about it last year, that they're an original 6 team. These teams are coming in saying, we got to show some, we got to play this team. We're going into the Garden, whatever the case is. And they're going to play up. They're going to play harder because they're playing the Rangers. If it's Columbus Phoenix, it's going to be, more or less like an intra-squad game. You'd have, what are you playing for?
Yeah.
But now you're going to play the Rangers. You're going to play the Hurricanes. You're going to play these teams. You want to win. You want to show your skill. You want to make a statement. They're playing for contracts. They're playing for these things too. So,
yeah, Little Ed, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on it, I think I've mentioned in prior episodes, is that they kind of rely on talent, or they try to rely on talent when they play teams like that. They veer away from their game a little bit, and they try to make those cross-ice passes and those dipsy doodles and things that they wouldn't normally do against a team like Tampa. So I think they try and just do a little too much. And then you kind of see it, like, as the game progresses, they start to get back to their old game just to get it done, just to get the win and move on. But it's always like that off to that slow start where they're just trying to do too much, or they're trying to do things they don't normally do against a tougher opponent or a playoff team.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I personally observe when they're playing those teams, like the lower level teams, I don't see that drive. And that goes back to what Trouba was talking about earlier in the season when he had, he made those comments to the media. The Rangers had a run of games against really bad teams. They weren't getting wins. They weren't playing a full 60. They didn't seem to have an energy or a drive to their game. But when they play these better teams in this stretch, I felt like for the most part they did. Even though they didn't go 6-0 or anything, but they were in those games. That Tampa game was a really good game. It was just well played, good goaltending, both teams. The Pittsburgh game was a toss-up. The Capitals game, yeah, it sucked. But for the most part, in all 6 games, the Rangers showed a will, right? I mean, 2 of those games, the Hurricanes and the Islanders, divisional games, the Rangers go into the third period trailing 3-2 in both games, and they scored 3 third period goals and win the game 5-3. That's something we weren't seeing earlier in the year at all, really. And against the teams, not enough. So I think that it probably relates to the all these guys just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, they want to get back to that point. They kind of maybe pencil themselves into the playoffs early.
Yeah, that
possible.
could be true for sure. That's a good point.
And I think now they're realizing like, all right, we got to make it first. And I don't know. So maybe there's some credit to give to Gallant there for doing that. I hate to give him any credit, but
I think it's everybody. I think it's the true, but we talked about it in the leadership episode where it's everybody. And it's the veterans like Panarin saying, you know what, maybe he's right and stepping up. He could have, these couple of guys could have had a bad attitude, say, I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me what to do. Like you see on all these sports movies, there's always that one guy. But they're all buying in. I think they're playing better, and I think they're coming more together. That, like we talked about, they had a few new players this year that had to get used to things. Get that little camaraderie going, and it seems to be paying off.
yeah, and Sam said it last game. The Rangers now have 50 third period goals this year. And they've played 39 games. So that's pretty good. And that's how you win games. You need to get those goals late. And overall, pretty happy with the performance and the way they've been playing against good teams. Now, hopefully they can right the ship against the bad teams and make sure they get those 2 points. But a couple other things, we got to talk again about Laffy and Kakko. Obviously, everybody wants to talk about them all the time. Number 1 pick, number 2 pick. Let's start with Kakko. All right, so Gallant puts Kakko with Kreider and Zibanejad 3 games ago, and is in love with Kakko's game since he did that. His quotes to the media, I put it in there for you guys. Kakko's been outstanding. He's playing with confidence. The last 3 games, he's going to another level. So before we even talk about this further, I mean, Little Ed, do you see Kakko's game in a different level in the last 3 games, or do you think it's just a continuation of what he's been doing all season? Because looked pretty good all season, I thought.
To me, yeah, no, he's definitely looked pretty good the whole season, I would say, but I think he's definitely stepped it up. Maybe even more than the last 3 games. I've noticed it where his stick handling itself, I think, has just improved tremendously, whether it's his confidence or just he's been working on it in practice. But I feel like when he has the puck, I mean, I hate to compare him to Patrick Kane, but that's what it reminds me of, where like it almost looks like the puck is just glued to their stick. Like it doesn't move. Like you don't even like see it. You know what I'm saying? So like he's able to just like corral the puck and work well down low. He's able to box out players down low. He's using his strength. He's using his size. I think he's just like something's clicking and he's finding like his calling, whatever you want to say, like, and he's like using it to his advantage, and he's playing real well. He's playing just tough. He's not trying to be flashy. He's not trying to do too much. He's just focusing on what's working.
Yeah, and like you said, the way he corrals the puck, I mean, he skates around the zone with the puck, controlling it, waiting. He's being patient.
Yeah,
I think
he does that a little too much. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
Well, it hurt him in the Islanders game, right?
Yeah.
So he did that. He lost the puck at the blue line, and Barzell goes down and scores.
Yeah.
Now he ends up getting the game-winning goal and redeeming himself on a beautiful play. But it just shows that he has the confidence to do it. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'd rather him do that and the Barzell goal happen once in a while than not do that at all and play extra safe. So Coach, he shows up in the 3 stars of the game in these 6 games twice. So something's working. But do you think that, him playing with confidence has anything to do, and I sorry to ask you this because I know we've argued about this, has anything to do with him being on the first line, just putting him on the first line and then his game raises? Do you think that maybe there's a connection there?
I mean, there's got to be somewhat of a connection because when you're on a line where guys don't find open ice and, aren't that good at it, we know that's a big difference. Zibanejad finds open ice. Kreider is pretty much of a stalwart creating space, which helps. If he's on a line with Laffy and Hedel, there's not that guy in front of the net on offense creating space for him to do that. That's a big part of the game that you don't realize. Even though Kreider's not setting a pick, he's still taking up 1 or 2 defenders in front of the net for a split second, and Kakko's making that decision at a high level right now of when to make a move.
I think that's an interesting point. Maybe explain that for the fans that didn't play the game, what you mean by Kreider drawing defenders.
Well, when Kreider's on the top of the paint, saying that he moves to the side of the net, that's going to draw at least 1 defender with him, possibly 2, being aware. It's going to distract the goalie a little bit because now the goalie has to be aware that Kreider's on the doorstep for that other deflection. So that creates that split-second decision, what they call in USA hockey time and space, for the guy with the puck to give him those few extra seconds to make a decision. And that's a big part. When Kreider's on his game, which I think he has been in the last few games also, that creates time and time for that player with the puck to make a move. And like I just said, Kakko's making the right decisions right now. He's making good split-second decisions when he has to.
And I think it also can draw defenders from up top too and open up the point. It just depends on, where the puck is. And when Kakko's got the puck and he's skating around and there's guys in front, it can pull guys from all over the ice towards Kreider. So yeah, that's a good point. Something I didn't think about. That's an interesting point. But yeah, so little Ed, Kakko gets interviewed and says he's beaming. He's so happy when asked about being on that top line. I watched his interview after the Hurricanes game, and he just it looks like a different person being interviewed. So do you think how long until Gallant takes him off the first line? 1 game, 2 games? How long?
I don't think it's going to happen right now. I mean, I think he can't. He just can't. He can't.
Well, he's our best right winger. He is our best right winger. I mean,
right now,
it's not saying much because our right wingers are all young and inexperienced. But I think he is our best right winger. I mean, you wouldn't say Kravtsov is better. You wouldn't say, Sammy Blay or any of these guys that are filling in on right wing,
whatever. Yeah, no,
right, are better than him. Gauthier, right?
No shot.
So I think he deserves the chance to run with this, especially with the way he's playing.
Yeah,
and the points are coming. The points are coming.
It's definitely showing a lot of confidence. I mean, it's definitely being asked to play on the top line with arguably the Rangers' best player. He's obviously a huge confidence booster, but I think Kakko does a good job at keeping himself humble in a way too, where he's not going to get too confident and get too comfortable. He's still going to work hard. And I think a big thing is I don't think we really underestimate the media, but at the same time, a lot of people do. It's probably a huge just weight off his shoulders that they're not really focusing on him very much. Now Laffy's kind of like the whipping boy, So it's probably a huge weight off his shoulders where he's just, you know what, I'm playing well. This is great. The media is actually talking good about me. So
yeah, he's
Rangers
a quiet
podcast. Finally giving me some stars of the week. It's crazy.
He's a quiet he's a quiet kid, so I'm sure that is true. So you mentioned Laffy. Let's talk about him. Obviously, big news. Gallant decides to scratch him against Tampa. Of course, Rangers Twitter and social media goes crazy, including me, even though I didn't post anything. So he scratches Laffy to send, I guess, to send him a message. I don't know, Coach. What is the thinking there? I mean, because look, we know that coaches scratch young players in the NHL. All fans know that it happens, and there's reasons to do it. But you're watching the games, you're watching Laffy. What is Gallant's reasoning for scratching him at this particular moment?
I mean, right off the bat, I'm looking at points right now. He's only 1 point behind Kakko. We're just praising Kakko up and down. I mean, I just think it might be, personally, I think that they're just using it as a motivational tactic to press a button or something to get him to another level. I mean, obviously they didn't sit him out for a week.
I think they're doing the same.
They sat him out one game. Yeah, sat him out one game. Look at it from the stand, see what's going on. Bring him down to earth a little bit. Maybe he was up on a high horse. We don't know what goes on, but I'm gonna say that's what it was generally. Let's just sit him a game, give him a rest. Maybe he's a little worn out. Maybe they saw something. Let him watch.
It's a good point. And look, again, with the points, he is getting some points, but if you just use your eye test, like you always talk about, Kakko has been way better than Lafreniere. I mean, they've just been two completely different players out there as far as confidence and with the puck and making plays, being dynamic. I don't see enough from Laffy, and I think I don't know, little Ed. I know you're a big Laffy guy, but I think that he has more to give there. That's what I think the coach is looking for, and I think there might be a little bit of look. Laffy comes in. We got to take a step back. And Ed, I want your opinion on this too. So Laffy, number 1 pick, enters the Rangers locker room, 18 years old, with all these stars on the team, and he is trying to acclimate himself as like one of the guys. But in doing that, I think he kind of doesn't take that next step that he needs to take because he should be one of those stars on the team. You know, he needs to get himself to that point. And I think he's just kind of settling into a third liner type game. And he's effective at it at times. You know, he is. He dumps it in, he makes the little plays, all that stuff. But I think the coaching staff is saying we need more from you, right? I mean, do you think that might be it?
I think so for sure. I think the biggest thing is kind of what you just alluded to, where he's having trouble finding himself and like what his game is supposed to be, and whether management and Gallant or whoever skills coach, they aren't expressing that to him what exactly they want from him. That could be a huge issue. I mean, I find it hard to believe that Drury and professional coaches and stuff wouldn't be communicating well with the #1 overall pick, but who knows? But like I just said, like Kakko's finding his game, he's finding his purpose, he's finding where he fits on that line with Kreider and Zibanejad. You know, so he's finding his role. Zibanejad's talking about how even Kakko's creating more space for himself as well. So I'm sure Kakko hearing that is like, okay, Meek is telling the media that's what he wants me to do. I'm able to feed off of that, whatever. So I think Laffy's just, I know this is long-winded, but I think Laffy's just having a hard time battling whether he should be that third line player or he should try and dangle a little bit more or make more flashier plays or shoot the puck more or whatever. So I think they have to sit down or maybe benching him, taking a step back, giving him some time to think about it, kind of like just a wake-up call, like, hey, you got to figure it out. What kind of player do you want to be?
Yeah, I think that's true. And you know, you said something in there. Again, it's less so about points as much as about being dynamic out there, and he's just not. I mean, he gets the puck, he dumps it in. Great. We always talk about we need to do that, but
not every time.
Every single time, you know, he loses the puck on the boards. You know, he's got to decide what kind of player he's going to be in the NHL and build towards that and play with a little bit more confidence. So we'll see. I mean, look, I didn't really like the scratch because I don't like scratching young players if you're not going to also scratch veterans when they need to be scratched. I don't like that. I think it creates a culture of like country club atmosphere, you know, and look, if he's going to scratch Laffy for not playing with confidence, then hey, if Kreider disappears for 6 games, he needs to be scratched. You can't just scratch Laffy. But if it was targeted, it makes sense. And coach, I saw after the game, they mentioned on the broadcast, in the Panthers game, that the Rangers coaching staff met with Laffy, sat him down, and went through video of his play.
Well, that's good.
In conjunction with the scratch. So that to me made me kind of like, oh, okay, like that. Maybe there is a point to this. Maybe there's something they want to show him. You know, and I know at your level of coaching, you don't have video to sit down with the players.
Well, we do it a little bit. I would love to be able to have the time to do that because I think it's great. I cannot believe that, you know, you want to go back to the 70s, they would probably just scratch a player and say, look, you're not playing good, blah, 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 blah. But this day and age, there's no way they're not going to sit down and say, look, this is what you're doing. I mean, we watched it in that all in show. What they have at their disposal is amazing to sit there and show these kids what's going on. I mean, I remember, like I always talk about, when Eddie was in, we would just video him for a game. It was literally 8 minutes of playing time. So if Laffy's playing 11 minutes, how long does that video take? How long does that session take? And they have coaching staff that's, you know, probably 15 guys strong, not volunteers.
Well, they have video guys that compile everything.
So to be able to
compile all this video of Laffy doing X, Y, and Z because we want to meet with him, and the coaches don't do it,
and it's done. You know, and they just go over it. So I definitely think it was with a purpose, and they wanted him to just look at it from upstairs because it's definitely a different view. And
so what's your take on the games after that to wrap this point up? You know, he plays against Florida and he plays against Carolina. I mean, did you see any difference?
I thought in Florida he had a few good setups of scoring opportunities. Last night I didn't notice too much live, to be honest with you. I just thought he had a good game. I didn't think he had any deficiencies. I mean, in a big game like that, you would like to see your future stars doing a little better. But look, they won. I didn't see him as a liability out there.
Little Ed, what about you live? Did you notice anything? I know you always talk about the little things that Laffy does. You always bring that up to me. So I'm just curious, did he stand out to you in any way, or like, do you think this is something we had to wait a little bit for?
I hate to spoil it, but he's in my doghouse. I'll get it out of the way now, but he's not even doing much for me at all, right? Like, he's not even doing those little things. I don't really see him like throwing the body around at all. Like I said, I think he's kind of just lost. He's not sure what to do. He's not sure what kind of player he wants to be. Obviously not giving him line mates or people that he's not used to playing with or whatever. Continuing to shuffle the lines isn't helping. But at the same time, you can't just baby one player and sacrifice the rest of the team's happiness or whatever playing ability. They got to figure it out. I mean, I hear a lot of rumors that they're going to trade him and stuff. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen. I foresee maybe a bridge deal like Kakko got, and then hopefully he wakes up. I mean,
yeah, they're not trading. The Rangers are not going to trade Lafreniere. There's no way. The only
like,
way they trade him is if they get McDavid or McKinnon or something like crazy.
Yeah.
Like that. No
Look,
way.
they got to be patient. But like we talked about many times, a lot of these first overall picks aren't just panning out and being the savior.
It's every now and again we get a generational talent in Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid, and it's just the media putting tons of pressure on Laffy, comparing him to Crosby and stuff. I mean, yeah, he looked great against the junior teams and stuff, but like, come on. Now you see highlights of Connor Bedard. I mean, that kid's on another level. I think he looks like McDavid out there.
He's going to be generational, of course.
Puck on his stick is much different than Laffy's highlights. A lot of Laffy's highlights were hardworking goals and him creating plays that weren't there. It wasn't that showboat type of play. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just got to give it some time. I know we're all losing patience. It sucks to watch it. I feel bad for the kid, but hey, it took Kakko 3 years. So hopefully maybe towards the end of this year and next year, it'll be Laffy's turn.
Yeah, we'll see. So let's keep it on the young guys' points right now. We got Keandre Miller just taking his game to another level lately. A coach came in with the hot prediction, 20 goals, right, Coach? Or was it 15?
15.
15
I said
goals.
15 plus.
15. He had 0 in 25.
Still a possibility.
Of course, yeah. I mean, he had 0 in the first 25 to 30 games, and he had like 8 points. But he's been pretty hot lately, getting some points. And not only that, but again, we talk about confidence with the puck, right? With the puck on your stick, does the player have confidence? Right now, Keandre Miller's got a ton of confidence with the puck on the stick. It's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like, what if, like, why don't the Rangers just randomly in a game, if they're trailing, maybe just like play him at forward?
I was just thinking that when you were talking.
Like, just once in a while, just be like, whatever, play left wing this shift and like try to. I mean,
no, how about putting him on the right wing boards on the power play?
Or that, so I mean, he's got so much confidence in the puck right now, and he's so talented. I mean,
I was watching juniors I was watching Othman.
Is that a Quagmire one, by the way?
It might be.
Othman, yeah, he's a stud, Coach.
Now, he's tall and he's got the long reach, so they put him down on the doorstep, and he gives him the target way out with his long reach for the pass down low. So you could do something like that with Keandre, where he's going to be reaching out. He's almost in the corner from the crease. He could almost reach to the corner.
The long reach of Keandre Miller.
You can make that little play coming in.
His hand-eye coordination is ridiculous.
Yeah.
At least once a game, he bats a puck out of midair, like no problem. Like right down on his stick. It's like he's playing lacrosse. Like he's just able to just like catch it in midair and just knock it straight down. It's wild. At least once a game.
What's incredible to me, there was a play last night where I've never seen a player like this on the Rangers. I mean, there probably has been in the league, but he goes into, the offensive zone with the puck. He'll make a play, and maybe it wasn't the right play. So he'll go in confidently. He'll make a bad pass. He'll turn it over, something. And then it's going the other way. And it's like, it looks like a 3-on-2. And before you know it, he's the guy breaking up the play. So he's just got that speed and reach to be able to recover. I don't see why he wouldn't just always have that confidence, because he knows he can there's not very few players he can't get back on, in my opinion. Very few. The list is probably like 15 or 20 players long that he wouldn't be able to catch him. So he recovers well even when he makes mistakes. He just looks amazing right now. But yeah, we got a lot of positives with the young guys. We could sit here all night. We could talk about Braden Schneider. We could talk about Kraftsall's game last night. There's a lot to say positively about a lot of the young players. But let's talk about one of the veterans, Jimmy Vesey. Everybody's favorite on here except me. Gets the PTO, gets a contract, $750 minimum salary from the Rangers. Signs an extension today, 2 years, $800,000 AAV, which is just a shade above what the minimum salary is going to be. Next year it should be $775. So pretty much what the Rangers did is solidify, knowing a cap crunch is coming. They know he's an NHL quality player. He can plug in the lineup, and he's going to do so at a minimum salary, which is huge, right? Because now they can spend that money elsewhere. They can invest it in one of their many restricted free agents or, whatever they want to do with it, really. So just quickly, thoughts on Jimmy Vesey's first, 30 some odd games with the Rangers this time around and his extension, Little Ed.
I love Jimmy. I think it's a great story. I mean, it's obviously it was his pick to come play for the Rangers out of getting drafted, whatever. I don't know. You kind of put me on the spot here. I just feel he just earned his spot. It's always good to see a player actually earn it and then get rewarded for something and not getting overpaid. He wasn't asking for too much. He wasn't going to sign somewhere else or holding out until the offseason to go maybe sign for $1 million to go play for the Coyotes.
He definitely could have.
He definitely could have. 100%
after. I think his play this year, he's earned himself a raise over $1 million next season. Somewhere.
Exactly. So I think his unselfishness in that department, he's happy here. He knows his role, like we just were talking about with other players. He knows what he brings to the table, and he's not going to try and do too much, and he's just going to keep producing. He's got that confidence. And now, especially, he's locked up for 2 more years. So I think his confidence is going to go even higher, where he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. Mikey, what about you? What do you think of the Jimmy Vesey extension? 2 more years of Jimmy. The price is right? I mean,
money spent well. Absolutely. Can't complain, especially with this play, especially with the price tag. I think it was a win-win for both the Rangers, Jimmy V himself, and everyone on this podcast and all the fans.
Coach.
I mean, my uncle used to say a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. He got 2 years at 800,000. He doesn't have to worry about another tryout next year, which he's been doing for the last few years. He's close to home. He's from Boston, right? Is he from New England?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's close to home. He's got a chance. Hopefully, ideally, the Rangers have a chance of winning the cup in the next few years. He's got a chance for that.
Yep.
So I think, I don't want to say he's at the end of his career, but, it's a waning career. He's got that bottom 6 type of mentality. He's a penalty killer and it's valuable, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, I finally got Coach Ed to watch the All or Nothing Maple Leaf show, and I started rewatching it myself, and I just watched the episode with VC where he gets waived. So
I didn't see it yet. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Very cool. You got to see that show.
Yeah. So I mean, it might not be to us where his career wasn't coming to an end, because obviously he's still young. Obviously, he's still got a lot left in the tank, but I'm sure it was going through his mind that his career might be coming to an end.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how he's feeling right now. So congrats to him. And
look, the guy's 29. I mean, I wouldn't say he's at the end of his career, but he was on a PTO. His NHL career was in the balance. So I get what your point is.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Not like physically the end of his career,
right,
mentally.
Right.
And I think I think he has a humbling attitude where I don't think he's going to take it for granted that he's got these 2 years, and he's going to work just as hard for the next 2 years as he is now.
Yeah.
So character-wise, he's a character guy, and I think it's a great deal.
Yeah, it's no risk to the Rangers. I mean, $800K if VC ends up sucking, and loses it or whatever at any point, they can send him to Hartford, waive him, and bury that entire cap hit. So there's really no risk financially to the Rangers. And the way he's played this year, he's a legitimate bottom 6 NHL forward, and a quality one. He's penalty kills.
He's trustworthy.
He's defensively responsible. I mean, you can make a highlight reel of at least, and I say this conservatively, at least 5 to 10 back checks where he made the play. You know, like if you went through the games and you were picking it, there's at least 5 to 10 that were like great plays, where he's back checking or sneaking in behind a guy who's about to shoot and picking their pockets. So he's really been a valuable player to the team in that role. I don't want to see him on the first line anymore, but in that role. And I'm happy with the extension too at that price for sure.
He's got some highlight reel goals on his end too, not just
that
defensive
one. Well, the
plays.
one was beautiful. The one where his dad was in the bathroom against the what was that against Detroit? It was Toronto. Yeah, it's Toronto.
Yeah.
Slap in the face to Sheldon Keefe.
All right, I mean, there's a million things we could talk about, but let's move into another segment, kind of like the Coach Ed's gift exchange. We're gonna do Coach Ed's New Year's resolution. I just put Coach Ed in the front of every segment. It's not really his, but Coach Ed's New Year's resolution. So we're each going to give, what we think the New Year's resolution is for a specific person and, a specific Ranger. We'll start with Little Ed. All right. So your boy, Jacob Trouba, I know you said that we kind of anointed him your favorite player and he wasn't really, but he's your boy. You know, he's been your boy for a while with this
I've
team.
always defended his honor.
And, he's had kind of an up and down year here. So go ahead and tell us what you think about Trouba, what his New Year's resolution is.
His New Year's resolution should be focusing on getting at least one big hit per game. Minimum. I'm not saying just one hit, one big hit, one highlight reel hit, one crowd goes crazy hit. Because he's fine throwing the little hits when he has to in the corners, behind the net, on the boards, whatever. He's fine with all that in front of the net. He's tough, but he's got to focus on that. And I think when he does that, his offensive play follows, the momentum follows, and he just plays a much better game. The fans don't get on him when he's a -3 last night, but he still threw 2 great hits. So let's just focus on that. Like it's been a topic of this whole episode. Focus on your game and what's working, and let's capitalize on it and keep it going.
Yeah, I love that because what made Trouba so valuable in the playoffs last year, and I'm not saying injuring guys is what made him valuable, just to clear it up. But what made him valuable were those big hits. I mean, the threat of that hit, it energizes the team, the players. I mean, when you're on the bench, one of your teammates lays somebody out like that, your legs start flowing. The blood
especially
starts
when
pumping.
It's your captain.
Yeah, that gets you going. You want to get out there and
absolutely.
make something happen now. So it's important to the team as well, not just the fans and all that. That is true, but it's also important to the team. That's a good one.
He had a couple last night. Didn't he have 2 good ones? The one was the guy jumped out of the way, but it was...
me and you.
No, he still got him shoulder to chest.
He definitely got him, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was...
Me and you talked about it after the first hit, and then we talked about it after the second hit. I kept saying, I was like, he's got to do this every game.
The other thing that does is it gets the other team pissed off and they start focusing on him.
Right.
And as a team, that's not good.
Yeah, I think he's got to kind of be that antagonizing captain that like we always talk about.
Yeah.
Dustin Brown, I don't know who else.
Yeah, those kinds of guys.
Burns.
Yeah, Burns, whatever.
So yeah, that's a good point, Coach. It gets the other team off their game generally, not just going after him, but just makes them a little chippier. They might take penalties. They get frustrated.
They're not coming through the neutral zone freely.
Right. So it keeps them honest.
They might dump the puck in when they could have carried it over. Little things like that, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Mikey Produces. I'm going to give you Keandre Miller. And we just praised him a lot, so it might be tough. But what's Keandre Miller's New Year's resolution?
I don't think it's tough. I think it's just what needs to happen. I think he needs to be a puck hog. I think he's too offensively talented not to have the puck on his stick. And I think he needs to be more involved offensively, whether that means, going 200 feet from the defensive zone into the offensive zone. And, he needs to be involved. He definitely needs the puck on his stick. He needs to be involved, and he needs to be a puck hog for this New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I like that. And when you say puck hog, just so the fans know, I don't think what he's saying is don't pass the puck. What he's saying is carry the puck, right? Like a thoroughbred through the zone, into the offensive zone, make plays, like be the guy who makes the plays, right?
Right.
So I like that. Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, the way he skates
He's
once a game,
he's
he should have
definitely
an
playing
end-to-end
more
roster.
physical this year. It's he's involved a lot. I love it.
Yeah, once a game, he should go end to end. I think. All right, I'll go next. We'll leave Coach for last since it's his segment. Um,
Wait,
little Ed.
where are those? Somebody get me Meg's cookies.
So
I need to
so
nosh.
so little Ed gave me Alexi Lafreniere. He's obviously been a subject of conversation here. So for Lafreniere, it's tricky because there's a few things that I think if I were him, I would want my resolution to be. But I think for him, it would just be, and I'm not going to say confidence and make it simple, but I'm going to say be more targeted with what you do when the puck's on your stick. Because I feel like with Laffy, he gets the puck and he's lost. He loses the puck in a board battle because he holds it too long, or he dumps it in right away. He doesn't seem to have a plan with the puck. So he needs to have a plan. Like get the puck, make a pass. If that's what you're going to do, then do it. If it doesn't work, okay, fine. He needs to have a more targeted plan with the puck on his stick. And then I think the points will come, the confidence will come, and things will happen. Because he seems to just be getting rid of it whenever he gets it. And it's not going to cut it, honestly. Just not going to cut it for a player of his caliber. And even like a fourth liner, and you're an NHL player, you can't be getting rid of the puck without a plan of why you're getting rid of it. Even when guys whip it around the boards, coach, like a defenseman, there's a plan. Maybe to the average fan, they don't realize what's going on, but they're doing that for a reason. That's going D to D, or it's going up to the right winger or something. Laffy seems to be lacking that right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Coach doesn't like my answer. For you, Coach, I'm giving you the coach. Gerard Gallant. Gerard Gallant.
Gerard Gallant. He looked like, I think it was that Tampa game before the game on the bench. It looked like he was like chewing on a chicken wing or something. It wasn't a piece of gum. He was like chomping on something. But anyway, I'm going to say, even though I understand that he changes lines a lot and I get why sometimes he's doing it, I think he needs to have that. Let's say his resolution should be to be a little more patient and give it a little bit more of a chance. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why Laffy's not finding himself. I think within the last 2 years, I bet you he's had 50 line combinations he's played on. So I'm going to say I'd like him to say I want to be a little more patient and give things a chance to work a little more.
I like that. Yeah, I agree
It's a
100%
good one.
with you. So who do you have him with last night? Hedel and Gauthier?
I think so, yes.
That line was brutal last night. Would you go back with that line?
I don't know. I personally would like to see Laffy on a line with Panarin and Trocheck.
I said it last night a few times. That line it was so random. It was horrible. I think it was VC.
Maybe it was VC. Yeah,
I think it was
Hedel
and
VC.
VC.
Hedel and yeah, that was just not a good game by that line. They did not play well.
I think the
I mean, they played
Kravtsov.
fine, but like Hedel didn't get much opportunities. He's been getting a few scoring chances every game. He didn't get anything. I mean, Laffy, like I said, was invisible. He didn't really do much, and that kind of just takes away from VC too, in a way. That's not. Then he's
He
not
didn't
really
seem to
playing
mesh.
his game either.
Yeah, he didn't mesh with those two. I agree. I didn't like that. So, Coach, you go with Laffy, with Trocheck and Panarin, and you take Kravtsov off that line?
I think Kravtsov's too much of a player like Panarin. I'm not saying on that level, near on that level yet, but I watch him a lot. He's leaving the zone early. He's going for that alley-oop pass. He's having a little bit of trouble getting puck off the wall out of the zone at times. I think he's very similar, and I don't think it meshes good with having Panarin out there.
I thought Kravtsov's been looking good on that line, but I don't hate putting Laffy there instead. I mean, it's not like you're advocating for putting Sammy Blais there, right? So, yeah, I'm fine with that. Coach, speaking of Kravtsov, what do you think of his between the legs moves that he's been doing?
I thought Sam Rosen was going to fall off the chair, but
And he did it last night too in the corner.
no, he's doing a couple of, he's making some good plays. I'm not going to say he's not, but 19 goals, 1 assist and 19 goals. It's a little tough.
19 games, you mean?
No, they got
19
19 goals in these last six
The
games.
team
He's
scored
got
19
1
goals.
assist, and he's been playing on the second line with Panarin and Trocheck.
Right. Well, not all the games, but
All right, well, a good part of him. He's been
was
getting
put there
top
recently.
minutes. He's been getting the top 6 minutes.
Yeah, he's improving though. I'm happy. All right. So, coach's New Year's resolution for Gallant: be patient, except with Kravtsov. So with
That's a good point.
bury him. All right.
I like
so
the moves he's been making. If it's gonna work, I mean,
he's
I
been
understand it's
playing
not gonna work every time, so you can't just not try it because of that. But he picks his spots. It's not like he's not trying it multiple times a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think he's picking his spots and he's picking them well. It's working. So if it's gonna now it's time to capitalize or make a pass after that.
Yeah, he looks stronger too. I think he was hitting the gym when he was out, coach.
Yeah, okay.
He's
Our
not
buddy-
getting knocked off the puck as easily as he
Our
was.
buddy
early in
at our buddy next to us at the Garden said he needs a membership at Planet Fitness.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. He and Heedle need to go together, right?
Oh
You
my
sent me
God.
that picture of Heedle in the locker room. I think he looks strong out there, but he did not look strong in that picture.
It's like he's in high school.
All right. So real quick, we're going to do a quick little broadcast banter.
It's a power play goal.
We'll make this nice and quick for you guys. So you guys were at the game last night. Mike, you and I watched the game, not together, but we watched it on TV. So I got a couple from the game that I just got to bring up. All right. Joe Micheletti. Boy, he's a crafty little player, Sebastian Aho. Okay, so that's the lead off, right? So Harper makes a hit in the corner. Really nice hit. And Sam gets really excited and he says, "What a hit by Schneider."
Yeah.
Incorrectly identifies Harper Schneider. Then he says, "I'm sorry, that was Brett Harper, excuse me." And then he goes, "Ben Harper." So Sam's losing it a little, man. Like, it's getting bad. So then the best one of the night, and we'll end on this. So they bring up the fact that Ovechkin had 2 goals in a different game. So he's up to 808 goals, right? So Sam goes, 808 goals for Ovechkin. And Joe goes, he's having a nice career. And Sam goes, Ovechkin? Huh. Nice assessment.
Giving it to Joe, huh?
So he's giving it back to Joe. I loved it because Joe always gives Sam, flack.
That's great.
But that is a really weak assessment. I mean,
Yeah,
Joe's
he's had a
better.
nice career, I'd say so. As one of the only 3 guys to score 800 goals in the history of the league.
Yeah, and all I can think of is that like Joe was looking at notes or something, and he just said like, "Oh, he's having a nice career," and like that was the end of it. His assessment, But anyway,
that's got to be like top 1 in broadcast banter history. Right
yeah, I
there.
want to find the clip. I'll find the clip for you, and I'll send it to you, Ed. He goes, "Huh,
That's so
nice,
funny.
nice assessment."
That's
and
great.
and then they moved on.
And how many times is Sam going to confuse Kravtsov with Kakko because he sees the 4 on the jersey?
Every
Well,
time.
in fairness,
I do confuse
MSG
them a little
did.
bit.
MSG did. So on the first goal last night, they announced, I heard it because I saw Kravtsov make the play and I was pumped. Kravtsov got a power play point. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Right. Quagmire moment. And then they announced it, Kakko and Heedle on the assist. And I was like, wait, what? That was not Kakko. That was Kravtsov. How'd they mess that up? So in fairness to Sam, MSG also made that mistake too. I think it's going to happen quite a bit. They're both young and they have the 4,
Yeah, speaking of MSG making mistakes, every time the Rangers scored, Carolina would score right after it. So the last time, I think the Rangers, it must have been the Rangers' 4th goal. The guy announced it like right away. Like right away. It was funny.
The 3rd goal or the 4th goal?
I think it was the 4th goal to take the lead.
Right. He's like,
because
before
every
they
time
tie
the
it.
Rangers took the lead, Carolina would tie it. Yeah. Or go
Right, he's
ahead
like
another one.
Yeah, he's like announcing these goals to get the fans pumped, and Carolina's winning still. So.
Right. That's exactly what kept happening.
All right, Mike, make a note. Write this day down because I'm going to make a Coach Ed bold prediction. Ovechkin's
Ready.
gonna get 1,000 goals in his career.
He's just throwing that out there. You put
No,
no
I
thought
talked
into
to
that
Eddie
before this
about
one.
it. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
put thought into it.
He needs
How
100
old is he now?
192 goals. He needs.
How old is he
38.
now?
38. Yeah.
If he plays another 5 years and gets 20 goals,
That's 100 goals.
all right, but he's not even slowing down.
If he plays another 5 years and gets 20 goals a year, he'll barely beat Gretzky's record.
20 goals.
But he's not going to get 20
light.
goals. Is his point? Yeah. This year he might
Well, he said
get
20.
50.
Yeah, he might.
So we'll see that's my prediction. If he wants to, he can do it.
Yeah, I
A
don't think
1,000 goals is reachable because Ovechkin is a freak physically. He could probably
Right.
play till he's 45 and score
Yeah,
10
he's
goals
not-
a year.
and he's not going to retire until he either has to or until he does it.
He should reach 1,000. Look, Ovechkin is one of those guys I hated earlier in his career, but you got to respect him. You know, he's one of the,
I feel the same exact way.
he's just a great player. I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy what he's doing out there, and I think he's barring injury will definitely break Gretzky's record. 1,000 goals,
without a
coach,
doubt.
is quite a bold prediction though.
He'll want to do it. He'll want to do that.
If he starts sniffing it, like if he's like 40 and he's got like 920, like he might
Yeah.
just keep going.
If he
until
hits
gets
40
it.
and he's still scoring 40 goals a season, like
Will he though? But that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
I mean,
it also depends on a lot. It depends on his teammates because Backstrom is questionable right now. I mean, he's trying to make a big comeback, but if Backstrom comes back healthy, he'll be like the first NHL player to come back from this injury or this surgery successfully.
Well, what's his
There's a
contract?
lot
Didn't he
riding
give
on
him a
that too.
long-term
Now
deal?
Carlson broke his face with the puck, so he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, but
And
he's
there's
still
a lot of
scoring.
weird-
He's still scoring goals while those
You're
guys
right.
are out.
You're right. But sometimes maybe the luck will run out.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, but what was the contract they gave him? I'm trying to remember. It was a
I think
multi-year deal.
I think it was 2.
No, I think he's got like 5 more years.
He's got 3 more years after this one at 9.5 mil. 3 more. He's 37 years old. So he's got 38, 39, 40. So he signed through age 40. So this year, what's he gonna get? We'll say 45 goals, right? Damn. He could get 1,000 goals.
I'm telling you, if he goes 50, then 45, then 40, 40, 30, and
Even if he just gets 30, 30, 30. Let's just take a 30. 20 is too low, I think. Let's say 30, 30, 30. What's he at right now, Mike? How many goals does he have this season right now? Can you look that up? So he's
Just
at
throwing
8.
it out there. Yager's still playing, and he's like 53.
Well, that's different. I mean,
Very
so
different,
he's at,
but I'm saying
He's
Gordie
still
Howe
able
played
to
till
play.
he was 50. Gordie Howe
I'm saying
played.
like Yager retired from the NHL because he couldn't get a contract or whatever, or left the NHL. He wasn't scoring nearly at the clip as Ovechkin. If Ovechkin retires and he's still scoring 30 goals a year, like why are you retiring?
Yeah, how many goals do you have right now at this moment?
28.
28 goals.
Halfway through the season.
So double that for this year. So 28 more goals puts him at what?
56.
836.
What?
830. Yeah, 808 plus
total.
28. Yeah, it puts him at 836. And then 3 more seasons. So what would he need to get 1,164? It's doable in 3 years for him. If he gets 50 goals a season, it's close, you know.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, but if he gets 30 per season, he would need to play another 2 or 3 years to reach 1,000.
He's going to play more than his contract.
Yeah,
he
he's
might
gonna-
not get that kind of money, but I can't see him retiring. I'd
He'll
be
get
shocked.
paid $1 million a year until he breaks or gets to 1,000 goals.
Yeah, he'll get to 1,000 goals. He has got an ego like that too.
Yeah.
But,
All right, let's get back on track.
All right, so Coach Ed's bold prediction: Ovechkin 1,000 goals. Let's see when he gets it 4 years from now. We'll talk about it. All right, let's move into our stars of the week. All right, boys. It's been quite a long episode, but we've had a lot to talk about. So let's run through our stars of the week here. And try and keep it as short as we can. Let's go to offensive player of the week. I'm going to start. I could have went with a bunch of guys. I mean, Zibby's been playing great, but I really just love the game of Kakko right now. So I went with Kakko for everything we said earlier. Coach, what about you?
I don't know how you can give him offensive play. I mean, he's playing well, but he's not putting up the points Sibby is. I mean, you got to
gave
give
it to, gave it to Kakko.
I know you gave it to him, but it doesn't. I don't know how you warrant that. I say Zibby. He's got a couple in the Florida game. He's banging them out. I don't know.
No,
He's
he's
playing
played
well.
great. Absolutely, definitely. Little Ed.
No, now I'm nervous. I don't know. No, I went with Zibanejad for sure. Since
Yeah.
last episode, it actually screwed up one of my Instagram posts. I had it loaded up for because Mika was kind of struggling. I think you made a comment that he was kind of like lower on the point sheet, even though the Rangers are doing so well. And then he ends up starting to score. So I was like, I can't post this anymore.
Yeah.
It's an old take. So
Yeah, I mean, 4 goals, 2 assists in 6 games for sure. Mike, what about you?
Number 93, Mika Zibanejad.
I also love the way they announced his name at the Garden.
yeah,
Even when he gets the assist.
he's
Yeah,
got the new, and they said something for Kakko now too.
Yeah. Kakko.
Well, he's always said that. We just haven't heard it much because
Yeah.
he hasn't gotten a lot of points. All right. Defensive player of the week. Let's go to Little Ed, our defensive coach. Who you got?
This was a tough one for me because I think all the defensemen are kind of playing well, but so I just went with the most consistent guy with Lindy. I mean, I even watching him last night, when Fox is in trouble, he just dishes the puck over to Lindy, and then Lindy gives it right back to him. It's like he's just a rock back there. You know, I mean, I say it all the time. Without Lindy, I don't really think there's a Fox, or not nearly as good as Fox could play. So
Yeah, I like that. Lindgren doesn't get enough love, and he's definitely been under the radar in these games too. So I like that you gave it to him.
And we were looking at his stats before you popped on. He's a +13. That's pretty damn good for a defenseman that's only making like what, 4 mil, 4.5 mil.
3 mil.
That was fun, no? Okay.
3
Thought his new
years, 3
contract
million
was a
per.
little bit more. All right. Either way, yeah, 3. That's even better.
Mikey, who you got?
I'm giving it to Keandre Miller. I think he deserves some love. I think there might have been a couple, like Lindy might have been better defensively, but during the stretch of games, I think Miller played well and deserves an award. So I'm giving it to Miller.
Yeah, I did the same, and I do like Eddie's pick though, because I think Lindgren, he's really been good, and he's under the radar. He's not getting the points or anything like that, but that's not his game, and he's just been
so many shots. It's just
he's super effective. He's one of those defensive defensemen that could skate and move the puck, and that's very valuable. Coach, who'd you take?
I had Key also.
Yeah, I took Key also. All right, so
Probably because like towards the end of these last couple of games, like we always talk about when there's a lot of games, you just forget a lot about the first couple. I don't know.
Yeah, it's called recency bias.
He's just.
a real thing.
I mean, even going back to the Islander game, I'm looking. He had a key assist.
A key assist.
A key assist on the
Whoa.
4th goal.
Nice, a key assist.
He's moving the puck well, like you said. He's playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, for sure. All right, highlight play of the week. 6 games to choose from. A lot that happened. Let's go. Let's start with Mike. What do you got for your highlight play of the week? 6 games to choose from. So
I'm giving it to Kakko's pass to the K-Man in front of the net. I'm pretty sure it was the Panthers game where he just found him sitting there and all he had to do was throw it in the net. Just that confidence that, Kakko had. I'm pretty sure the defenseman slid across the ice. He still got him the puck, and it's a beautiful pass.
Yep. I love that play. Coach?
I mean, even though I like to give the entire Islander game the play of the week, I'm going to go with, as usual, my boy Schneids in the Florida game. There was one play where he got beat wide, almost fell. The puck went to the front of the net. He leveled the guy, took the puck, rushed it down ice, and got the assist on the goal.
The secondary
thought-
assist.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
the one. That's the one
Right.
that you texted.
Yeah.
That was all Schneids.
Yep.
Play. The second's a
I
bad.
was watching the game with Kathy, and I like jumped off the seat. And she's like, "What's the matter? What happened?" That was a big play to me in a game that was, it was kind of a pivotal game. Like you said, they're not playing well this year, Florida, but that's a team that's trying to get into a streak, and they have the talent.
They're trying to pick it up.
Yep,
Tough game.
And they shut them down pretty good.
Yeah. I
That
went
was a
with
big hit.
the honestly, I got to go back and watch that goal to see it. I don't remember that play by Schneider in particular. But I'm gonna go with the Kakko one timer against the Islanders.
That was a great goal.
The game winner. That was awesome. And
That was a great goal.
I didn't see that game live, so I knew it happened already. But when I looked at the score and I was like, oh, we took the lead, and I saw his Kakko, I was like, I gotta watch this goal. And it was just like it was a highlight reel goal. I mean,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, I ended up watching it after, kind of ruined the moment, but it was a beautiful goal. Ed, what about you?
I went with the Trocheck back check into the 2-on-1 with Kreider. I just thought that was a great play. I think they showed that Trocheck had to skate like 300 and something feet that whole play or whatever. I don't know.
He always skates like 6 miles a game. That's one thing I'll say about him. They always show
he
like
works
miles
real hard.
skated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were looking up his plus minus too. He's a minus 13 or something playing with Panarin, which is just atrocious. But that one play he had, great defensive back check. He stopped the goal there, and then they turned up ice, and then Kreider made a phenomenal pass back door for him, and he just had to tap it in. So
Yeah, it's kind of
combination.
odd. It's kind of odd looking at the Rangers and their plus minus because they're a good team. But you look at Panarin, Trocheck, and Laffy,
Yeah,
and they're all like really, really bad plus minuses.
It's the first line, and that's it.
Maybe we shouldn't put them on the same line together.
And then, I mean, Laffy is oh no, I'm sorry, Laffy's a 0. Trouba and Miller are minus, and Panarin and Trocheck, and then pretty much the rest of the team is either 0 or plus. So it's just those 4: Miller, Trouba, Panarin, and Trocheck. And I just find that odd. I mean,
I'm gonna say Trocheck's a -8, mostly because of Panarin's a -13.
he's a -7, Panarin. He's not -13.
Whatever. He's up there.
No, is Trocheck 13?
No,
No,
8, I think.
No,
Nobody's
yeah, he's at
-13. No, Trocheck is the worst plus minus on the team right now.
Yeah, that's shocking to me because I think he's also like very defensive responsible. So I mean,
Right. It's a little bit odd. The eye test wouldn't tell you that, in watching him.
Yeah.
So it's a little odd. That's why plus minus isn't reliable. Not a reliable stat. Anyway. All right. The Jesper Fast Key Contributor Award. Let's start with Coach on this one. Who's your key contributor for the week?
You're gonna get out the Quagmire clip. I'm going with Kakko.
Kakko.
Nice.
Yeah, I went with Kakko also.
I mean, that Islander game was great. He was a big part of that win.
He's been awesome lately. So obviously I picked him offensive player of the week. Go ahead, Mikey.
Kakko. No other player.
Wow. I went with Gaudreau. I think, with Gaudreau, he had that huge game. He got 3 points in that game. I forgot which game was it that he had the 3. It was the Islander game. Yeah, he had a goal and 2 assists in that game. Playing with Gauthier. Gauthier had a pretty good game too. But the thing about Gaudreau is he literally plays on every line and is effective in whatever role they put him in. They played him up top, remember, and he was making these highlight reel passes with Zibanejad, and I'm like, come on, man, get this guy off the first line, and then he makes like a highlight reel pass. He penalty kills. He leads a 2-on-1 with VC on the penalty kill, leads to a huge play, almost a goal. They put him on the 4th line with a bunch of scrubs, and he turns them into a 4-checking unit. Put him with Gauthier, gets him going. He's just a good, really good player, and
Guy's a hockey player.
he's a great player,
Yeah.
very useful player. That's why he's overpaid, because guys like that are very, very valuable for not the points showing up. Hopefully we don't have to get rid of him because of the stupid salary cap at any time soon, because I really like his game, especially right now. He's very effective.
He's a huge part. He's a huge
I
part.
wanted to give, so this is what happened. I wanted to give Gaudreau the key contributor, but I wanted Kakko to get an award. So I ended up leaving Zibanejad off, even though he was like the #1 star 3 times. So it is what it is. But anyway, all right. Coach Ed's copyright Doghouse Award. So last episode, 2 weeks ago, all 4 of us had an empty doghouse. An empty doghouse. So there's nobody to remove. We'll deal with that next episode. Little Ed, you start us off. We usually start with Coach because it's his doghouse, but we'll start with you because you already said it.
Yeah, I already
Who
gave
you
mine
got?
away.
Who you got in the doghouse?
Got to go with Laffy. I mean, he's my boy. I've been defending him since day one, but right now he's a little lost, and hopefully, sitting in the doghouse will help him find himself a little bit.
Yeah. All right. I think you said it before. I agree. Coach, who you got in the doghouse?
I alluded to it before as well. I'm going with Kravtsov. 19 goals. He had 1 assist.
Kravtsov's been playing so well. I have
I don't know
no
about
idea.
so well. Take it easy.
He's playing great.
Take
man.
it easy. Not great.
You're out of
Not great.
control.
He's playing
Makes
adequate.
makes no so adequate's good. He gets in the doghouse
Look,
for
I'm
playing
entitled
adequate.
to my opinion, like you're entitled to your opinion.
Wait, he gets in the doghouse for playing adequately. I just
Not-
want to point this out.
Not
So
for
VC
what
plays adequately and he gets an extension and all this praise, but Kravtsov plays adequately. He goes in the doghouse. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I don't want to interrupt you. Is there anything
Yes.
else you want to add to this, or should we move on?
No, that's it.
All right.
He's got to be more involved. He's got to be on the score sheet more than for 1 assist and 19 goals. And he's playing on the line with Panarin and Trocheck. For how
All
many
right.
games? 3 games? 4 games?
All right. Mikey Produces. Who you got? Who you got in the doghouse?
I was going back and forth. I didn't know who to throw in there. But I think I have to agree with Eddie. I think Laffy Taffy needs a little timeout in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Laffy.
I don't disagree. I put Laffy in there too, but I actually put him in there with somebody else. So I got 2 guys in the doghouse, Laffy and Heedle.
Whoa.
And Heedle, I've loved his game all season. I think he's been super effective and underrated, and especially in a third line role. I think he you know who he reminds me of? I don't know if you guys are familiar with his game, but the guy in Dallas, Rope Hintz. He reminds me as that kind of a guy. I think he can develop really into a 2-way stud. In the last week, no, dude, no. Like I don't like his game.
Yeah, I hope he's not hurt.
I know that deflection goal that he got benched for last night was a fluke, and that's not really his fault. He was trying to make a defensive play, and he ended up.
Yeah, but it was a
scoring.
little lazy.
It was a lazy reach, you know. It
Right.
was a lazy reach.
That's why he got benched, not because it's a bad luck play. Yeah.
He tried to make the play. I get it, but it was a lazy reach. And honestly, the reason I say that, I'm hesitant to say it, is because the first goal, Panarin was puck watching,
Mhm.
and he doesn't get benched. But Heedle makes a lazy play and gets benched. But whatever. But anyway, I understand the benching. I don't really like his game. And then he scores the empty net goal, and he looks sad. So there's something going on with Heedle. He's not confident in himself right now, and it's showing. He's not as effective as he's been all season. So Heedle and Laffy, they can spend a little time in the doghouse. I'm very confident Heedle will come out, and I'm hoping Laffy will come out next episode.
Well, they had confidence in him to put him out there with a minute left and the net empty. So
Well, I don't. He doesn't look. If you watch his goal and that empty
no,
net
I
goal,
get what you're saying, but he's kind of got to look at it in that way also, in that light.
yeah, but,
you know,
but
so-
after the episode though, watch the goal because you were at the game. I don't know if you
Yeah.
could tell, but watch
No.
the goal and look at his face after he scores. Something's not
Yeah.
right there. I mean, that's the 5th goal in a 5-3 win against the top team, and he looks sad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like players, they just don't like scoring empty net goals anymore. Kreider like literally just would rather not score. I feel like.
I would just pile up the empty net goals if
I
I
know,
could.
like-
Like, yeah, I scored 30 goals last
I
year,
don't care.
man.
Yeah.
I
Worry
don't
about
care.
it.
Pay me. It's great. Whatever.
You're in the NHL. Put the puck in the net. Solidify those wins.
Listen, Carl Hagel's making a career out of it.
And Michael Grabner, right?
The
Didn't
empty
Grabner
net
do it?
specialist.
Didn't Grabner do it too? He had like a bunch in the empty net.
Grabner had all the breakaways. He was the breakaway specialist. Not
Yeah.
He didn't score. He got the breakaways.
Yeah. Speaking of breakaways, before we move into the 150, that game against Tampa, Shesterkin looked vintage in that game on breakaways, and that shootout was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was all I mean, I was pissed we lost, but it was that was
How about
amazing.
that breakaway
Two
Kravtsov
very
got?
good goaltenders.
How about the breakaway Kravtsov having the guy caught him, like at the blue line?
Yeah, that was funny. He like ran out of gas.
What
He was
the
at
hell
end-
happened
He was
there?
at the end of a shift.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
the end,
that.
The end of a shift.
I remember that
Outta
because
here.
it's like one of the few times you texted. So
You gotta
Coach
have a-
texted
you
in the
gotta have
chat
a-
like, What
gotta
happened to
have
Kravtsov?
You gotta have a mother effing aneurysm to get caught like that.
Yeah, he had a clear breakaway, and he looked like he just was in mud or something. I don't know.
Skating in sand. Oh, the guy next to us said that too. Another coach at his skating in sand.
I mean, that's an old hockey cliche.
I know,
So
but I learned it from my dad saying it. I think you said that our grandfather used to say it.
He said it about me.
yeah, my dad used to say it all the time. So it's definitely an old time hockey quote.
Great one.
All right. So we got the Rangers Ed 150 with Mikey P, and then we'll come back for some trivia. So let's turn it over to Mikey P.
Before we get into trivia, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast League. I'm your host, Dr. Pierzak, and we are back after the holidays, and the show is back in full swing. We had a great Winter Classic on Monday with Boston taking down Pittsburgh 2-1 on the back of 2 goals from Jake DeBrusk in the third period. And it was also announced that Vegas will be taking on the Seattle Kraken in the 2024 Winter Classic. Sticking with Vegas out west in the Pacific Division, the Golden Knights are still in that number 1 spot and have put up 2 wins and 2 losses on the board since Christmas. They dropped a couple divisional tilts to the Kings and Ducks immediately after Christmas and have since taken 2 from the Central Division, 1 from the Avs and 1 from the Preds. Vegas currently has their 3 of their big guns on IR, and Jack Eichel, Shea Theodore, and Jonathan Marchessault. So as the season moves forward, keep in mind that this team has been quite successful despite having significant pieces on IR for extended duration. The Kings are still holding on to that number 2 spot, but this team is too reliant on their offense to win games. LA is 6th in the league in goals scored, but are 5th worst in goals against, having surrendered 137. So if this team's going to make a run going forward, they need to tighten it up on the defensive end. Finally, the Flames have crept up into 3rd place, moving the Kraken down to that 4 spot. The Flames finally seem to be getting it together over the last couple weeks and have put up a 2-1 record since Christmas with wins over Seattle and Vancouver and a loss to the Oilers. Moving on to the Central, right now this division is all about Dallas, Winnipeg, and Minnesota. Dallas continues to play as they've been all season, so not much to go into there. But Winnipeg has stumbled a bit recently, winning only 2 of their last 5, but still sitting in that number 2 spot. The Minnesota Wild have finally found their rhythm with only 2 losses through their last 10, coming to San Jose and Winnipeg. Significant news out of St. Louis with Ryan O'Reilly out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken foot, Vladdy Tarasenko out 4 weeks with a hand injury, and Torrey Krug on long-term injured reserve to be reevaluated in 6 weeks. Unlikely this team's going to make a real push without those 3 players, so watch out for them at the trade deadline because they will likely have significant pieces that playoff-bound teams are very interested in. Guys like Colton Parayko, Justin Falk, Nick Leddy, Braden Shen, and Brandon Saad are great trade pieces for playoff-bound teams. Moving on to the East in the Atlantic Division, Boston is still holding on to that number 1 spot with 0 regulation losses in their last 10 and still undefeated in regulation at TD Garden. The Leafs are also on top of their game, only dropping 1 out of their last 5 to the Yotes, and have finally got Morgan Riley back after an MCL strain in early December, so watch out for them now that they have all their big boys back in the lineup. The Bolts are 3rd in the division, and since the return of Anthony Cirelli, have put up a 9-3 record, moving Detroit out of that top 3. The last team to mention in the Atlantic is the Buffalo Sabres. This team has been adding tons of young talent over the last 3 to 4 years, and it seems that it's finally coming to fruition for them, barring some defensive mishaps. Rasmus Dahlin is having a career year, sitting at 3rd in the league in defensive points with 38. Tage Thompson is tied for 6th in the league in points, 2nd in the league in goals, and as a team, they are tied for 2nd in the league in goals scored with 137, 1 behind the Boston Bruins, but are leading the league in goals per games played with 3.91. This isn't a team that's going to win a cup yet. They don't have the defensive depth or the goaltending to make a deep run down the stretch, but Buffalo could really stir the pot as the playoffs approach and supplant a team like the Pens, Rangers, or Capitals from a wild card spot. Finally, in the Metro Division, the Carolina Hurricanes are the hottest team in the show right now, without question. They've overtaken the Devils for first place and have widened the gap between themselves and the second-place Devils to 7 points. Canes are riding an 11-game win streak and handed the Devils their 10th loss on Monday night in a shootout. Since the start of December, the Devils have done a complete 180 and are looking like the Devils we've seen for the last 5 years or so. They're now 4-10 since December 1st and have surrendered 4 or more goals in all but 3 of their games through that span. The Caps, on the other hand, have turned it around and out of nowhere after an abysmal start to the season, despite Backstrom, Hagelin, Wilson, Carlson, all remaining on long-term injured reserve. However, Oshie is returning this week, I believe. The Caps are 11-2 through their last 13 games, and after looking like they may not even make the playoffs a few weeks ago, they now look like they could actually contend for a Stanley Cup. We got some exciting hockey coming up this week, folks, so stay tuned for more updates next week. This has been your 150.
All right, Mike. His Bruins are doing real well. I'm waiting to talk some smack to this kid, but they
They're
just
peaking
don't.
too early. They're peaking too early.
You think so, Coach?
The Winter Classic too. They go down a goal and they just don't. There's no fear at all. They're
One of
coming
those
back.
teams like the Penguins and the Capitals. Like I keep waiting for these guys to get too old to like be a good team anymore. And it's just they just like
Doesn't happen.
age like fine wine, you know. It's like
They know what it
Bergeron.
takes. They know what it takes.
Coach, did you see, by the way, Pasternak, the rumor he's going to get 8 years, 11 million per season.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
That's going to break the Bruins streak of signing all these guys to like huge value contracts.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, let's
wait. Shout out to Mikey P's girlfriend Christina for hooking him up with ring light and phone mount so he can record himself with some light up there in north of the wall.
Oh, that is
North
nice.
of the wall.
I didn't know where you were going with that. You started that conversation with shout out to Mikey P's girlfriend for hooking him up with. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but it ended up in a normal place. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Mikey Produces. Hit me with the trivia.
We got a 2-point question tonight. You guys
Big
ready?
sigh from Cousin Ed. Yep, go for it.
Which New York Ranger holds the record with the most assists in franchise history?
In a
Give me the
season?
name. Give me the name for the
Total
player.
assists?
Total assists. You get a point for the player's name, and I'll give you a point if you could give me the number closest to without going over.
Closest to without going over. Okay.
I have no idea.
What we got? Everyone ready?
I'm waiting for everyone to. In a season or career?
Career.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Do it
They
again,
said in a
Coach.
season.
No, career.
Franchise history. Most assists in franchise history. What you got, Coach?
I don't know. Give me a second now. Franchise history.
I'm all running out of Jeopardy theme song.
Yeah. Rod Gilbert.
When I do the YouTube, I just have to keep playing it on on a loop.
Or loop.
I went
I'm
way over,
pretty sure.
it looks like.
Pretty sure Little Ed had
I had Rattel
Rattel.
at 461. You can't find the page.
Both
It was
Coach-
Rattel?
Both Coach and Eddie had Brian Leach. The answer is Brian Leach.
Ooh.
But what did you have, Cuz?
731.
Oof. So Cousin gets a point. It's 741.
Oh, look at that, Coach.
741 career assists for Brian
Wow.
Leach.
And I almost put 780. I almost put 780, so I would
I
have
didn't
went
think he
over.
had that much.
Coach would have had it. So Coach gets one.
Where'd
Oh,
Mike go?
Mike left us. He's like,
Just got
he's like, screw this guy. I'm tired of him winning.
some somewhat breaking news, but it looks like the Rangers might be pursuing Ryan O'Reilly.
How is that breaking though? Is there close to a trade or is it
I
like?
don't know. I just lost the post. I'm trying to find it. But we can move on.
I think that would be a good pickup.
I would say.
Like get him for a draft pick or something. O'Reilly's out for 6 weeks though. He's got a broken foot, so
Yeah.
pick him up at the deadline. He's got the Conn Smythe Trophy under his belt. He's a captain. Stanley Cup. I'm in for that.
It's another center, though.
It's all right, Coach. I'm sure you'd be happy if Heedles moved to fourth line center or wing.
Well, I wouldn't bank on Heedle's career being long.
I don't think Mikey's coming back. His computer died, so I think we could wrap it up without him.
All right, Mikey. Well, thanks for the trivia. Thanks for the 2 points. Appreciate it. And all right, boys. Well, good episode. I mean, we had a lot to cover. It took a while. We did it. I'm glad to be ready to start this new year with some Ranger victories. We got 2 this year already, right? 2-game winning streak. So
I was a little surprised, cuz I thought you'd be proud of me. I've been watching World Juniors, brushing up on my Rangers prospects.
no, I am proud of you. It's fun to watch that. It's been on NHL Network, right?
Yeah.
So there's a guy on USA. I don't know if he's in the lineup. Did you watch any of the USA games?
Yeah. He's not in, he hasn't been in the lineup. Lappa or something?
Laba, yeah, he was a draft pick last year. He made the team though, so I was impressed by that. He was like a 5th-round pick.
And the guy Sikора's on the Rangers, right?
Slovakia.
Prospect. Yeah.
Yep, Adam Sikora.
I like the way that kid plays. He's feisty.
He's going to be a solid bottom sixer, man. He's
fast. Feisty. Yep.
He's fast and feisty. I like that. I am proud of you. It's fun to watch those games. You get to see some guys who are, earmarked for NHL careers a little bit ahead, and now you'll know when they call him up, you'll remember Adam Sikora and what he was like and what to expect. So,
all right, Coach, some people bloom late, Ed.
You'll lead the prospect talk when that happens.
I don't know about that.
But all right, man. So we got what do we got? Montreal tomorrow night. This is Wednesday we're recording. This is the 4th, right? So we got Montreal tomorrow night in Montreal, House of Horrors. Then at New Jersey. I think I saw something actually in New Jersey. That'll be their 3rd game in 4 nights. So opportunity to catch them tired and take take over them pretty much. That game's on NHL Network, unfortunately, and then home against Minnesota on Tuesday. You guys going to that game or no?
No, I don't think so.
Zuki back in the Garden, so that'd be a fun one to go.
And Revo.
And Revo. Oh,
I'm in Revo already.
You know Reeves is going to score. You know he's going to score. You just know.
Our next game is the 12th against the Stars.
All right, cool. So we got Zuki and Revo back. I think we'll probably be recording that night. Maybe we'll record on the 11th. We'll see, but we'll definitely cover the 2 road games this weekend, and we'll be back next week, fans. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to Tennessee Meg for the cookies and all the goodies in that box. I definitely ate like half of them already. Really appreciate that. And shout out again to our #1 fan this week. Fan of the week. Who was it?
Joey
Reels.
Joey Reels on Instagram.
Yeah. So Joey Reels, listen, if you're listening to this, please do me a favor, since you can look things up. Go back and find all the Coach Ed quotes that ended up being incorrect, because I want to make a compilation video.
It's not many, baby.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you
Love
guys
you
later.
guys.
Love
Good
you
job.
Guys. Good night.
Love you
Talk
guys.
Thank you, Meg.